Hi, my name is Newman and I'm a final year aviation management student in Dublin City University. Today I want to talk to you about ancillary airline revenue. Some of the topics I'm going to be talking to you about will be the history and continued growth of ancillary revenue, today's changing and evolving airline business model structures, and the future of ancillary revenue. I'll also be posing the question, could ancillary revenue make up more than 50% of an airline's total revenue? Ancillary revenue is the revenue generated from non-aeronautical sources. This includes revenue from food and beverage sales, in-flight purchases, car rental and hotel commissions, baggage fees, seat selection fares, and revenue from frequent flyer programs. Today, the global airline ancillary revenue market is worth $1 billion annually and has shown continued growth year on year for the past decade. So, why has ancillary revenue become such a focus for airlines today? Well, aviation is a cyclical and often volatile market. Unpredictable fuel costs, decreasing yields, and an increasingly competitive industry landscape have all been factors in the rise of ancillary revenue. The rise of the low-cost carrier, as well as the global financial crash of 2008, have also helped to propel ancillary offerings into the limelight, as airlines have been forced to draw upon other means of revenue other than ticket sales alone. In this paper, I interview revenue managers and directors from a range of airlines, including Etihad Airways, British Airways, Aer Lingus, United Airways, and WOW Air, and the president of the IdeaWorks company and the author of the Car Trawler Annual Ancillary Revenue Yearbook. These interviews serve as a means of getting industry and expert opinion on today's changing airline business models, as well as the future of ancillary revenue. In my paper, you will see a breakdown of ancillary products and services currently offered by a range of low-cost carriers, hybrid carriers, low-cost long-haul carriers, and full-service network carriers. By examining how each business model employs ancillary revenue streams currently, we can gain an understanding of how ancillary products and services will develop over the next decade. The convergence of low-cost carriers and full-service network carriers is also examined, as industry professionals discuss with me how these models have evolved over the past decade. Hybrid carriers are also discussed as they become more and more prominent in the aviation industry, taking characteristics from both low-cost carriers and full-service ones. In analyzing the financial data collected from 13 selected airlines and various business models, a breakdown is done comparing both ancillary revenue takings per passenger for each airline and the percentage of total revenue attributed to ancillary takings. This analysis shows that although full-service network carriers are now making similar amounts of ancillary revenue to low-cost carriers, low-cost airlines still attribute much more of their total revenue to ancillary takings. This shows that ancillary revenues are a continuing necessity for low-cost carriers, as they need to continue to employ these extra revenue streams in order to effectively compete with all other business models. The future of ancillary revenue streams is also investigated, showing how personalization of ancillary products and services will soon become more and more important to airlines relying on these revenue streams. The use of big data and artificial intelligence, already being utilized by some airlines, will allow for location-aware and context-aware applications and promotions in the near future, maximizing ancillary revenue potential. This will also give the passenger a more tailored and seamless experience from the airport to their final destination. Could ancillary revenues soon make up over 50% of an airline's total revenues? This question is put to industry professionals with a largely optimistic response, with many believing that low-cost carriers such as Spirit Airlines may soon reach this symbolic benchmark. This echoes the optimism industry leaders are showing for ancillary revenue streams in general, as this aviation trend shows no signs of slowing down. Thank you for listening, and if you'd like to get in touch, my contact details are below.